Hi guys, it's Tracy. Thanks for joining me. Today I'd like to show you a card that I was inspired by. I think it was on Pinterest. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I like the look of it and wanted to have a go of it myself. The stamp set that I used for this card was from Altenew, and it is the Build a Rose stamp set. This stamp set is a layering stamp set and it creates very realistic looking roses. I do love using it, and it also has some coordinating dies that cut out the main rose, the leaves, and another smaller flower that's included in the set. I have the card here that I'll be stamping on, and the colours that I'll be using for the stamping of the flower is from Altenew, and it's their crisp inks, and I'll be using Frosty Pink, Coral Berry, Ruby Red and Grapevine in that order. And for the leaves, I'll be using Bamboo, Parrot, Olive and Moss in that order as well. So I have my other supplies here for the card, but I'll go through those a bit later. I'll just set them to the side. For the stamping of the roses, I'm using my Misty. I've sped the video up here because you don't really need to see me lining it all up. It does take a little bit of time to get the layers right with this stamp set. Altenew are very good though, and with their packaging of their layering stamps, it does include a guide to show you where each layer goes. I do like to keep this guide very handy when I'm using this stamp set, because if I haven't used the stamp set for a little while, I forget how complicated the layering can be sometimes, so it's handy not to throw that away. And with these Altenew layering stamps, you do go from the lightest ink colour to the darkest ink colour. So you can see my layers are getting a bit darker here, both on the leaf and on the flower. So I'm onto the last layer for the flower here, and I am stamping it twice to get a darker last image on there. So the flower's all finished now. It looks so realistic. It's hard to believe it's been stamped. Got the coordinating dies here, so I'm going to cut those out. I'll cut them out off camera. I also cut out another couple of leaves that I needed for the card, so that I had 3. I did that off camera as well. This is the die that I used for the main part of the card. I cut it out of white cardstock. Not sure where I got the die from. I think I got it from a local craft show. Not 100% sure on that. Cuts out quite well. I was quite happy with that. Now onto the cardstock that I'm going to be using on this card today. I'm choosing to use a light grey cardstock, and I've been inspired lately by a new person that I've been following on YouTube, Corinne Wiskman. So hi to you, Corinne, for your inspiration with your fog cardstock that you get from Simon Says Stamp. I just had some light grey in my stash and decided to use that. I was quite impressed with the way those cards look that you make, Corinne, so you've inspired me to have a go at it myself. And this is where I realised this die was exactly 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch, with no nice border around the edge. So I'm looking at both the top folding note card and the side folding note card and realising it's not really going to go the way I wanted to. So off camera I trimmed down the sides a little bit, and then I was much happier with how it looked on the card. I still didn't go with the top folding, and I went with the side folding note card. To me it just looked a little bit better. And so now I'm going to get the rose and the leaves, and I'm going to fiddle around with the card and the placement of how I'm going to have it looking on the card. Although I'm not 100% happy with the colour of the flower. But I'm just going to hang in there for the time being and get my placement right, and just see whether I can fall in love with the colour or not. But I'm not sure at this stage. So I spend a couple of minutes just looking at it and thinking, something's a bit off. And I do decide that it is the colour of the flower. And in my stash I did have a pink one that I'd already stamped previously, and it's got a bit of aqua shimmer pen on there. and I'm checking now to see whether I do actually prefer the pink to the red. So I'm looking, thinking, don't know. So I get the red one, bring it in, red, pink, red, pink. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the pink. I was much happier with the pink looking on the grey than the red. So with that decision made and I'm going with the pink flower, it's time to start gluing things down. So I start with the white background piece, just glue it on there. And no, that's not blood, it's red ink from when I was inking up the red flower. So I've got the pink flower and the leaves, and I'm now making the decision to glue everything down with the 3M Scotch foam tape. I had to trim some of the leaves off a little bit because of the foam tape underneath the flower, but that's okay, you can't tell. Pop up some of the leaves with the foam tape as well. And I'm happy with how that's starting to look. So I'm sitting here thinking about my sentiment and also admiring the aqua shimmer pen on the rose. It looks so pretty. I'm trying to decide what to do about a sentiment. So I decided that I'm going to cut Happy Birthday from a silver mirror cardstock. But it seems a bit flimsy just on its own. So I've cut another 2 using the Happy Birthday die from Kaisercraft. That's what it looks like. And I cut another 2 happies and 2 birthdays, and I stack them on top of each other, and then I glue the silver one on top of that. And here I've done that already, and it's much stronger. Although I don't like these little hairy bits that are on the die cut sometimes. Does anybody else get that, or is it just me? Pop a comment down below and let me know. So I'm just fiddling around with the placement here before I glue it down. So I glue it down, and I've also got some pink rhinestone bling that I've temporarily placed on the card. Whilst I was getting the rhinestones out, my rhinestone container fell off the shelf and directly onto the carpet, and look at the mess that's made. Crafter's worst nightmare. So I go ahead now and stick all those down with the Gina K Conect Glue and my jewel picker pen. Finishing touches are now done, the card's now complete. I'm very happy with how this came out, and again a big thanks to Corinne Wiskman for your inspiration on using the grey cardstock as a card base. Just looks so stunning. I hope you get inspired to make a card like this too. Thank you for watching today, and I hope you get a chance to check out my blog, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Thanks for watching. Bye.